Freeform is an American basic cable channel that is owned by Walt Disney Television, previously named Disney/ABC Television Group. It is a sister network to Disney Channel, Disney.XD, Disney Junior, and ABC. Its main target demographic is young adults in the 14 to 34 range, and its programming includes mainly of original programming and feature films. If you go back through the decades, Freeform actually has a really long, detailed history that far predates its time as ABC Family. It's gone through numerous name changes and rebrands, and has seen 4 different owners in less than 4 decades. It was originally a religious channel that aired, sermons and stuff. Its first name, back in 1977, was the Christian Broadcasting Network, or CBN. It changed its name to CBN Cable Network in 1981, where it then adopted a more secular broadcasting schedule that had a mix of family-friendly series and movies along with religious programming. Already as early as 1981, we see the original intent of the network disappearing. In 1988, it was renamed again as the CBN Family Channel to better reflect its current crop of content on the channel. By 1990, the channel grew too profitable to keep the CBN name without endangering the non-profit status of the ministry. On January 8th of the same year, CBN spun the network into a new for-profit corporation known as International Family Entertainment, or IFE. The network's name was shortened to the Family Channel on September 15, 1990. In 1996, Family Channel starts a programming block called 25 Days of Christmas. Airing from December 1st through December 25th, it consisted of, well, actually, I don't know, but I assume it was Christmassy things.
Together with them, we'll bring you joy, we'll bring you a cheer, we'll entertain you through the year. The Family Channel, together with family. Our family best, our family pride, working together side by side. The Family Channel, together with
1997, IFE is bought by Fox.
This is the Family Channel signing off the
Fox Family's 13 Days of Halloween is simply spooktacular.
And that consisted of mostly made-for-TV specials and movies that I have never watched, heard of, nor cared to watch. But I'm sure you all enjoyed it. For those of you keeping track at home, this is now 5 different name changes, all in the span of only 21 years. Oh, and also, if you haven't noticed, if Disney hadn't already bought Fox Family a few years later, they would have already have owned Fox News by now because of their purchase of Fox. So that's kind of funny. And no matter what timeline, Disney owns Fox Family. The new youth-oriented strategy of the channel alienated the network's core audience of older viewers. There was a sharp drop in primetime viewership, and Fox Family dropped from 10th place to 17th place in Nielsen cable network viewership numbers. Eventually, Fox Family struggled, and soon parties involved decided it's best for everyone to sell to a third party. So, in 2001, News Corp agrees to sell Fox Family Channel to the Walt Disney Company for $2.9 billion, plus an extra $2.3 billion in debt. On November 11th, 2001, it is announced that the network would be renamed its 6th and penultimate name as of now, ABC Family. There we go. Doesn't that feel better? ABC Family is as far back at the History of Freeform that many people know. Granted, that's probably because a lot of people watching it are only old enough to remember ABC Family. That's how it is with me. Their history doesn't fully feel real to me until we get to ABC Family. Well, throughout all of this, 13 Nights and 25 Days are trudging along year after year. It's almost miraculous, if you ask me. 13 Nights was started literally in the most troubled time of the channel's history. Any other network, this block would not have survived. It would have been seen as the last-ditch effort of a company trying desperately to stay relevant, not the start of the second longest-running block that it ultimately became. So, it's ABC Family, and Disney pretty much just uses it for Full House reruns and holiday blocks, which is what this video is really about. At the time, this was ABC Family's biggest selling point, I think. The continuing of the holiday traditions eventually turned it into the first network to really carve a brand, make a thing out of holiday programming, you know, make it its brand, so to speak. I mean, sure, you had your Charlie Browns and your Grinches on the main networks, but it wasn't a thing like it is now. For my purposes, I don't remember when I first started watching 25 Days of Christmas, but it was pretty young, and it was basically my entire holiday TV watching appetite during December. It would show a combination of Disney-owned movies like Mickey's Once Upon a Christmas, Mickey's Twice Upon a Christmas, The Muppets Christmas Carol, Winnie the Pooh and Christmas 2, Mickey's Christmas Carol, and The Nightmare Before Christmas, along with Rankin Bass shows like A Year Without a Santa Claus, Santa Claus is Coming to Town, Jack Frost, and the like, along with non-Disney-owned movies that they had the broadcast rights to, like Elf and The Polar Express. It was the shit during the holiday season, and at the time, I actually cared less for the Disney stuff because I just watched that stuff in my own time anyway, and I mostly liked it because it was my introduction to the wonderful, slightly off-kilter universe of Rankin Bass, which is a holiday staple. These things aren't actually very good at all. But the point is, this is when I feel the channel finally got some identity. They were the channel that was the go-to destination for holiday TV. 25 Days of Christmas eventually got so big that they added an extra block in November called Countdown to 25 Days of Christmas, which is billed as sort of a countdown to the official block, starting on November 21st. The block mostly just consisted of family-friendly Disney and Pixar movies like Finding Nemo, Ratatouille, basically just their regular lineups with occasional spurts of Christmas movies. The way I remember it, they would start out with the Disney movies, and then as we got closer and closer to December, they would start airing more and more Christmas movies until finally we just got to December. 13 Nights of Halloween also existed at the time, but to be honest, I didn't really care about that at all. I did not watch it. My Halloween TV appetite was squarely in the Disney Channel corner of things, and I just did not really care about ABC Family when it came to Halloween time, but I'm going to put a pin in that for now. We'll get back to that later. For now, I want to continue talking about the evolution of Freeform and how we got here. ABC Family also found their stride when they started releasing original series targeted towards young adults. That, to me, is when ABC Family really becomes ABC Family, despite the name. In fact, in 2006, when this programming was just getting started, ABC Family came out with a new slogan called A New Kind of Family, further meant to represent their new image as an edgy network. These are the days of Greek, The Secret Life of the American Teenager, etc. It also became the exclusive television home of Harry Potter, which, I don't have to tell you, for a network is a pretty good thing to be the exclusive TV home for. That was when I myself started watching ABC Family regularly outside of December. And then in 2010, well, this is the first time I believe a product of ABC Family really became a social phenomenon. I mean, 25 Days is great and nostalgic or whatever, but this was a show that was absolutely everywhere. It was a television show that ABC Family itself fully created, and you could not escape it at all. I was like a preteen during the time, and I remember seeing the first trailer and somewhere thinking, this is going to be a big deal, isn't it? And it was. It belongs in the Hall of Fame alongside other teenage targeted television such as Glee, The Vampire Diaries, and Riverdale, which I have never watched. I've never watched any of those shows. I know nothing, literally nothing about the actual content of Pretty Little Liars. Is it too late? Is it not cool to be watching it anymore? Like, have we surpassed the coolness deadline? I have no idea. So at a certain point in the age of Pretty Little Liars, Switched at Birth, and The Fosters, ABC Family kind of stopped being an accurate name for the network. ABC Family is the name Disney picked out when, it was the Family Channel. Family had been part of its name for basically most of its lifespan. It was embedded into the DNA of the network, so much so that people actually had this idea that somewhere there was a stipulation that family had to be in the channel's name. An urban myth that has pretty much lasted up until the time where ABC Family changed its name to Freeform. The network had been ABC Family for more than a decade, and it was starting to clash with the actual content of the network. It wasn't really a family-friendly network like it was being advertised as. So, in October of 2015, ABC officially announces that it's changing its name to Freeform. Its name was meant to represent the target audience of young adults that the network aims for, and lovingly dubs becomers. In the words of network president Tom Aschheim, the most important question that young people ask themselves as they're going from high school to their 30s is, who am I becoming? So we call the life stage becoming, and the people going through it becomers. I know, it's a stupid name for what is essentially just millennials, but I get the idea behind it. As someone currently going through that phase in my life, I completely understand it, as goofy as it is. So the channel fully embraced its true target demographic without the shackles of family entertainment holding it back. That was the idea. It doesn't have to be ABC Family anymore. It is officially Freeform, and it's just 14 through 34 adults. You don't have to feel ashamed for watching it or whatever. Thing is, I don't think they fully succeeded in changing its image, so to speak. I will see comments all the time on Freeform's Facebook page about angry parents angrily commenting about how an adult commercial was aired during this kids movie. And honestly, half the time I have no idea what they're talking about, because like I sometimes try to pay attention to the commercials and I'm like, I do not see the commercials that they're talking about that are apparently inappropriate, but nonetheless, it is a thing that happens. Parents just are like, why are you airing this adult commercial on this network? And they don't understand that Freeform is a channel targeted towards adults. In addition to that, I was watching Scream last week, and every time I came back from a commercial, there was this disclaimer that was like, viewer discretion advised. And that tripped me up, because it's like, you don't see that on AMC. It's like they feel uncomfortable airing the movie. Like it's something they're not supposed to be fully doing yet. Not fully there, but they're trying. They're absolutely trying. To me, they're somewhere in the middle, where a bunch of parents somehow still have not accepted that it's not ABC Family anymore and that it is Freeform, and they just need maybe a couple more years before they feel completely comfortable airing Scream and stuff like that. They announced the name change during the 2015 13 Nights of Halloween, which is, incidentally, the first year I started regularly watching their Halloween lineup, at least as far as I can remember. And I think at the time this freaked a bunch of people out, because they were all like, oh my god, does this mean this is the last year of 13 nights and 25 days? Oh no, what's going on here? However, not only did Freeform continue airing 13 nights and 25 days, they arguably became bigger deals than they were even during the days of ABC Family. We can go back and forth on the debate of the actual quality of the blocks ever since they transformed to Freeform versus how they were back in the days of ABC Family. And while I do think there is some validity to the complaints, I also feel that during the last few years of ABC Family, they were kind of going through the motions. Airing 13 nights to 25 days because, well, we're ABC Family, that's what we do. And it was becoming a force of habit, if you ask me. Freeform, on the other hand, they overdo it in the best way possible, to me. They gave them, like, Twitter pages and snarky personalities and whatnot, and it's just, it feels like way more of a bigger deal, and like they're having way more fun with it than they ever were with ABC Family. Another important change that I think Freeform has was that they finally fully embraced their role as, like, a Disney-owned network. It's funny, I always was, like, as a kid thinking how Disney had a version of Nick Jr., and they had a version of Nicktoons, and they had a version of Nickelodeon, but they never had a version of Teen Nick, I always thought. Until I realized while making this video, oh, Freeform is the Disney equivalent of Teen Nick. They just don't air old Disney sitcoms. Well, not anymore. Nowadays, Freeform has really just become its own thing, in my opinion. They know what they are, and what role they fill in the world of television, and that role is the sole network that I ever watch, ever. Their millennial-targeted programming includes marathons of Disney movies, but under the guise of it being, like, you know, for the young adults who liked this stuff when they were a kid. And in fact, there was a commercial for 30 Days of Disney where, like, the main attitude was like, yeah, you know, kids can watch too. Like, it wasn't even just, like, a subtextual thing. They explicitly said all this in the advertising for 30 Days of Disney. Nostalgia is a key part of their brand. Going back to what I said earlier, if I'm watching cable TV now, there's like a 98% chance that I am watching Freeform. Especially during October, let me tell you. As I've detailed, this channel has a history of airing Disney movies, Harry Potter movies, Halloween movies, Christmas movies. I mean, shit, that's basically all my non-Survivor interests right there. It should be noted that ever since 2015 and 2016, 13 Nights of Halloween has become a steady part of my TV diet. The days of ignoring the block are long over. In 2018, Freeform rebranded themselves. Don't worry, not another name change. I've already written like 2,000 words about their 6 billion name changes. That's not what I mean. No. I mean, they changed their logo. They changed 13 Nights to 31 Nights. They changed Countdown to 25 Days of Christmas to Kickoff to Christmas. Extravaganza. And they changed the logo of 25 Days of Christmas for the first time in a long-ass time. Like, at least as long as there's been an ABC Family. Wait, is that right? Let me be right back. Okay, so I think now I know the year I started watching it, and that was 2005, because I sincerely do not remember any logo other than this. This is the logo for 25 Days of Christmas, not whatever those things were in the past. The year previously, they also announced that 25 Days of Christmas would be expanding across all of the Disney channels, at least the important ones. Disney Channel, Disney XD, Disney Junior, and ABC all adopted the 25 Days of Christmas block, which is another big step in the Disneyfying of Freeform, if you ask me. Taking something that previously had no connections to Disney whatsoever and further appropriating it under the mouse as if it was theirs all along. People have expressed distaste with the programming during 31 Nights of Halloween ever since it changed. A lot of the complaints seem to be if they're just going to show the same 7 movies over and over again, why even bother having only 31 nights? Why not just keep it at a more manageable 13? I really like the lineup. It got me through some pretty hard times last year, and this year it's just been so incredibly just fun. They're still working at the kinks, but I will admit I do think that this year is so much better than last year's, let me tell you. Remember what I said about Disney Channel being my go-to place during Halloween? Well, it's time to take that pin out. That was the case for many years, you know, back during the days of Hauntoberfest and Monstober, when they would air their Halloween Town franchise and their Twitches franchise, and it was a very, very big part of Halloween for me back in the day. But at a certain point, it seemed they just kind of stopped caring about Halloween. You know, like it wasn't important to them anymore. The last couple of years, they haven't even had a name attributed to it whatsoever. It seems like Halloween isn't even really a priority for them the last few years. They air other Halloween films like Hotel Transylvania and Goosebumps, and it's just that over and over again. It's not even an event anymore. It's kind of been the exact opposite of Freeform. Yeah, I know Freeform also shows those movies, and they, you know, they have the habit of showing the same 7 movies over and over again, like I said. But they just care about it more. They have a name for it. It's a bigger deal than it was. There's 31 nights instead of 13 nights. Disney Channel stopped caring about Halloween. Freeform started way more. This year alone, they're only showing Halloween Town in the form of a YouTube stream and a marathon on October 31st. Shoving them all off on one day. True, it is the big day, but it's also like they're showing them at the very last minute they possibly could. You know, like it's a chore. Like it's something they have to do. Like it's something they're obligated to do because it's Halloween Town and we're Disney and fine, let's just show it on October 31st. That will make them happy, right? And that's why I jumped to Freeform. Because even with how repetitive the lineup is, they at least still honor the holiday, you know? They still do the thing, and they even extended the thing throughout all month. I'm actually kind of surprised one of the common complaints of 31 Nights of Halloween is that they don't air Halloween Town, because, like, they never showed Halloween Town. Why are you complaining to Freeform about it? Disney Channel was the one that stopped airing Halloween Town. You should all be complaining about them. Freeform hardly, if ever, showed that movie. It was always Disney Channel. Speaking of what I said earlier about this year's lineup being better than last year's, this year saw the return of old favorites like the Scooby-Doo movies, which hasn't been seen since 2016, Corpse Bride, which took a year off for some unexplained reason, and Addams Family Values, which also took a year off for some reason, along with new movies like Scream and Ghostbusters. Point is, I like the Freeform Halloween block now. It's pretty much the main thing I watch during October on television. I know it's contentious because, again, they air like the same 7 movies over and over, but you do know people have lives, right? People have things to do and they're not just watching the TV all month long. And I think Freeform understands this. You know, sometimes I'm busy, so I appreciate the chance that Freeform gives me ample opportunity to watch a movie that I might have missed or something. I mean, we're not watching every night of 31 Nights of Halloween. I mean, it is October, right? You know, picking out your costume, picking out a pumpkin patch, going to get apple donuts at that same farm that you go pumpkin picking, going on haunted hayrides and corn mazes because for some reason I all of a sudden turn into a hillbilly in October. Like, if I was still living in a country that, you know, really did Halloween, or at least did Halloween to the same big extent that it's done in America, I would be extremely busy in October. And I'm sure that's how, for a lot of people, it is. October is very, very busy for us Halloween fans. Heck, on the night itself, we're certainly not watching any movies. We're out trick-or-treating if you're a kid, or handing candy out if you're an adult, or perhaps even going to Halloween parties if you're an adult. We're busy during the month of October. We're not just watching TV. Freeform understands that we're not just glued to our couch all October, so they air movies multiple times to give you chances to watch them. That's just good practice if you ask me. Okay, but sometimes they air non-Halloween movies. Okay, yeah, that's kind of lame. But at least in recent years, they've have like a little disclaimer during, you know, non-Halloween movies like Finding Dory and Moana. They'll be like, yeah, we know this isn't a Halloween movie, don't add us. And I love the recent practice they've done, which is taking non-horror movies and editing them in horror style like trailers. It's just absolutely perfect. Mwah, chef's kiss. Love that. It's not ideal, but it's at least nice they're poking fun at themselves. Last and most vocal criticism is that they air Hocus Pocus far too many times, which I'm like, on the one hand, I'm actually kind of thrilled at how they've just further dug their heels in, like, year after year. They just air it more and more, and they refuse to back down, and they just, you know, dig in even further. And now it's a part of their advertising. Like, they make fun of it. They advertise that they're showing Hocus Pocus 30 times. They take this criticism and they turn it into a selling point as to why you should watch it. And that just makes me so happy. I absolutely adore the audacity. Hocus Pocus is, again, one of those movies that used to be on Disney Channel, which then migrated to ABC Family. And when I watched it, well, first of all, I watched it on Disney Channel. That's when I first found it. But then it migrated to ABC Family. And back in those days, it wasn't anything that special. It was just another Halloween movie. But people loved it, I guess, and it's become a cult classic, and now it is the quintessential Halloween movie, and it has become the face of 31 Nights of Halloween, and nothing could make me happier about that. So, point is, this is a long-winded video explaining Freeform's history, which then goes on to explain what my Halloween TV viewing habits have been, and I just wanted to make this video because Freeform, TV-wise, is a very big, important part of my life now. I watch it a lot. And it's just so endlessly fascinating to me that the same channel space that I'm using right now to watch a Disney movie or Addams Family, less than 4 decades ago was a completely different beast. And it's really fascinating to me how they've really hit their stride and they know what they are now. And at this point, they have 4 full months of themed programming. Like, that's pretty cool, I think. I know this is weird because it's not Survivor related, but I want to start expanding this channel to stuff that's outside of Survivor, so here we are. We are talking about a network. So, though, if you liked this video, maybe give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you want to see more content. Don't worry, Survivor is not going anywhere. I just wanted to add stuff to Survivor and not make it just Survivor. All of this other extra material will be in addition to Survivor, not replacing it.